All right, hello and welcome to Show of Hands Hangout number 67. I think that's the number that I wrote on there. I honestly didn't look at the last one and we've missed a week or two, 2 weeks. So that could be completely wrong. I think it's 60 something though. Uh, anyway, here we are. Uh, I will have everyone quick introduce yourselves, say who you are on the app, what you'd like us to call you here, and your favorite Prince song. Or no, shouldn't say that. Good. I. Hmm. Why don't we start with you, Ron?
All right, I am Ronderman on the app. Um, Favorite Prince song, probably the only one that I will consistently leave on the radio and turn up would be "Let's Go Crazy." Just I love the guitar on that one, so that one's my favorite.
Uh, who wants to go next? How about you, Bama?
Okay. I'm BamaGirl on the app. I'm Susan in real life. Um, and my favorite Prince song, I was actually a big Prince fan back in the day, so I think I'm going to go with Raspberry Beret, though.
Someone had to. Well, it was. I think that was the first Prince song that I ever heard.
Oh, wow.
And I think at the time he may have been the artist formerly known as, or
Yeah,
the.
I think he was the symbol. Yeah.
Ironically, he became that again today. The artist
Right.
formerly known as Prince.
Mm-hmm.
That was the joke I was trying to do with making. I thought it was too soon.
Too
Maybe a
soon.
little. It's okay.
All right, I'm Rosebud on the app. My name's Bailey, and I'm going to go with the first song that I remember hearing, which was 1999, because I remember it being played on New Year's at the
Mhm.
end of 1999, and my family was weird that night, so.
I'm sure mine was too.
Wow, that makes me feel so old. Because, I remember like in the mid 80s thinking it's never going to be 1999. What a great song.
Yeah, I agree. I felt that way as well.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm surprised that you actually knew who Prince was, Guyton. Just
Really?
saying, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's nothing against Prince. It's more, you're only 12, so I wasn't exactly sure if you knew
Well,
who he was.
he was just at the Super Bowl a few years ago, so maybe Guyton caught him now.
That's
No,
true.
I've known who Prince is for a long time. Uh, all those contests about who was better, Michael Jackson or Prince.
Yeah, I actually went back and watched the his Super Bowl halftime show today. Somebody posted a link to it, and so I watched it. And I don't remember seeing it live, but it was pretty good.
It was good, yeah.
Yeah, I think Raspberry Beret. I am Firefly 5 on the app, Guyton in real life, and for a favorite Prince song, I don't know, it might be 1999. That has a lot of memories with it, but Raspberry Beret was the first one I've heard that I had heard. And I think I was 12 when I heard it. So, um, although I guess I was 13 when it was 1999, so yeah,
Wow.
that's not that much different.
Wow.
He's bragging now. That's all he's doing.
Uh,
Mhm.
Still
uh,
older than me.
there you go.
Wow.
Bunch of babies. That's what we're
Yeah.
doing.
But we have the same birthday.
Yes, we do.
Oh, wow. So you're
Hi,
both
Day.
Pi Day babies?
Hmm.
Well, mine's a week later. Mine's March 21st, so.
There you go. Happy
So are
birthday
you
not
the
too
only
long ago.
non-March baby, Ron?
Do what?
I said, are you the only non-March baby on tonight?
Well, my birthday is actually tomorrow, so yeah.
Oh,
Hmm.
Happy
well,
early
early happy
birthday.
Yep.
birthday.
I'm an hour and 45 minutes away from 44.
Wow. Well,
Nice.
happy birthday.
Yeah, well,
Yes,
thank you
happy
very much.
birthday.
Um, Let's see, we've got one string of trying to convince Bailey to be on. Uh, Ima asks, did you play with Legos as a kid, and do you remember any of your best creations?
I'll go ahead and I'll go
Yeah.
first. Back when I was a kid, you didn't have all these fancy, Star Wars Legos or Minecraft Legos. You had
Well, I was gonna
Lego.
say no, Ron. Legos have been around since like
Yeah,
rocks fit together.
yeah, but they were just your standard blocks. You had to actually use your imagination.
Mm.
Of course, they were a lot cheaper back then, but I just didn't have the imagination to care about Legos.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
but now you spend $100 and you make it like this little small Millennium Falcon or something, and then you destroy it and then you never build it back again. So, at least that's what my kid does. But no, I never played with Legos.
Mm.
Well, I actually had Legos, and I'm only a couple of years younger than Ron. But most of my Legos were actually what they call Duplos now, I
Yeah.
think.
Oh, the
The
big one.
bigger Legos. And yeah, all I really remember building are towers and knocking them down. I I was not creative with my Lego building, so. But yes, I did have.
I didn't really have them either. I remember my cousin had some of the Star Wars Legos when he was little, and I'm the oldest out of everyone, so that's not that new or that long ago. But he was trying to show me stuff, and I didn't understand what he was doing. So
These
Yes,
guys.
those. Yes,
yeah,
those.
my kids have those.
Mm-hmm.
They're really annoying
Yes,
everywhere.
I hate them. My kids are now old enough that they can do away with these, but for some reason they've not made it to Goodwill yet. So maybe I should do that tomorrow. My birthday present to myself. Get rid of all the
There
big,
you go.
stupid.
Oh man, we use those constantly here.
Oh,
Uh,
do you?
we have a ton of the. Well, we don't have a ton of those. We have a decent amount of those that we use all the time. My younger two love using those. My older one likes using, the
The
actual
little
small
ones.
Legos.
Yeah.
And yeah, when I was a kid, I played with Legos a lot because who saw that coming, right?
Yeah, that's
And
what smart people do. Not all of us are smart people.
I just didn't have. Well, whatever. It's something that was there. But yeah, I played with Legos a lot, and I would build all sorts of stuff. And I remember discovering, but it was like you were saying, it was just blocks. It wasn't
Yeah.
sets necessarily. I think the sets existed, but I just didn't have them. So for me, it was just big buckets full of blocks of Legos, and they were great. I remember when I found like wheels and then the parts that moved, like the hinges and stuff, and that just changed everything. Like suddenly everything could move, everything was whatever. It was a lot of fun. Um, I actually still have some of the Legos from when I was a kid that I gave to my kids, and they're all about it. So we
Yeah,
do a
I was
lot of
much more
Legos.
Hot Wheels kind of guy. I would play with the cars and we'd race the cars. I'd do that forever, but to actually use my imagination to build something,
So you didn't do Tinker Toys either, Ron?
no, or
Or
the
Connects. I don't know how old those are, but
Oh
no.
no, they're younger.
okay.
Um,
Those were awesome
Lincoln
when I was a kid.
Logs.
Yeah, I
Those were
did
great.
Lincoln Logs. We had some Lincoln Logs, but I didn't have time for them.
And my
No,
brother had, I think it was called an erector set. It was
erector
metal.
set. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I had friends with those, but
yeah.
no.
Oh,
And
I did the Tinker Toys more than the Legos.
the sad thing is when I went to college, I interviewed to the School of Design to be an architect.
That's funny.
That didn't work out.
That's funny.
I had a friend in whatever long ago who had so many Legos that we could actually build. Like, we built this doorway inside their doorway, and it was just this tunnel that kind of.
Wow.
We have no idea what the tunnel did. I'm at the edge of my seat. What did the tunnel do? The sad thing is he's somewhere in Michigan still telling us what the tunnel did. Okay.
There he is.
Do.
Hmm?
What did the tunnel do? You just got stuck right there.
You got stuck.
Oh no. The tunnel just kept getting smaller and smaller. So it was like this. It started out being the size of the doorway, and then it shrank down to where you had to crawl through it to get in.
Oh.
That's a lot of Legos.
Yeah, that is
It was a lot of Legos.
How'd you get up to the top of the door?
We just kept building. We built stairs to climb up, and then took the stairs
Oh,
down.
wow.
And we built like these big person-sized dinosaurs. I mean, we were kids, so a person size wasn't huge, but it was still big enough.
That's awesome.
It was
Yeah,
fun.
there's way too much TV to watch for me to be doing stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Transformers and G.I. Joe to watch and stuff.
Yeah, we didn't do much TV.
Me neither. It was limited.
So I think that's something that the kids just do. I don't know. No, the kids like Ron and his new technology.
Right.
We played with blocks when we were no.
And we liked it. Back in my day, we built our own stairs with Legos.
It was fun though. Oh, let's see. Yeah, questions from Jenna. And we do have questions from last week when we were going to go and then didn't because I forgot what happened last week.
Last week you forgot it was Thursday.
Oh, yeah. That sounds right.
Yeah, the week before is when you had such a terrible week at work, I think it was. So.
Oh, yeah. But last week I had a couple job interviews, and then everything went all sorts of crazy fast, and then it was Thursday, and I didn't realize it. Sorry, that's my fault completely.
Stop. That's my husband, a grown man, by the way, that keeps poking me. So,
Wow.
just
Well.
that's.
You're not married to a child?
Did you see that? She struck him.
It's okay.
That's domestic abuse right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Video evidence.
He got me first.
Okay, well then it's fair.
Yeah, we'll see how that defense stands up in court.
Well, you can't see the lump on my forehead from him chucking a Snickers at me earlier.
Oh my
And he
goodness.
told me heads up, and I took him too literally, I guess.
I'd love a Snickers. Tell him to
That's
chuck
That'd be quite a throw.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was across the apartment. He chucked it at my head.
Wow.
At least he was sharing. I mean, there are worse things that can get thrown.
Yeah. I still got my chocolate.
I saw that.
There you go. So let's see. Jenna asks, "What's your favorite beach?" How about you, Bailey?
One with white sand and daycare nearby, so I can decide if I want to bring kids or not.
Yeah, daycare's very important when you go to the beach, or grandparents.
Oh yeah. That actually, last time we went to the beach, we went with my parents and my grandparents, and it was great because half the time I could just lay on the beach and relax and didn't have to worry about my kids like drowning or anything
Mm-hmm.
or running away.
How old are your kids?
I have now a 5-year-old, a 2.5-year-old, and an 8-month-old.
Wow.
So.
Well, I can tell you from take advice from the old guy. We live at the beach during the summers, and our world changed when we realized that we could just put life jackets on them while they're hanging out at the beach.
That's what we do at my parents have a pool and life jackets the whole time, and it's great.
Well, I mean, at the beach, you figure if they get swept away, you'll still be able to find them. You know, they'll be floating around somewhere. You don't want it to happen, but if it does, they've got life jackets on. So it made the beach so much better for us when we realized that. So, and we're at the beach probably 2-3 weeks a year. So,
I'm going later this year because my brother's wedding and he lives on the beach.
No, I'll take care of it because I've got to bring the garbage out too.
well, our favorite beach is Emerald Isle. It's out on the Outer Banks of the North Carolina. Great place, and Firefly's gone. But yeah, it's my wife basically grew up on the island, so it's a good place to be. How about you, Bama?
It's been a long time since I've been to the beach, but I'm gonna say my favorite beach trip was probably Destin, Fort Walton area. I love the Emerald Isle, so that's what I'm going with.
How about you guys? And you've been to like different country beaches and stuff.
Oh
I
yeah,
have. There is. Oh, my Julie and I actually got married on a beach, um,
nice.
and that was cool. And it's a beach that's close enough by to where we can go most any time. We live. I mean, it's not the ocean like you have, but it's the Great Lakes, and they're pretty big. Um, and so we have the lakes within 30-40 minute drive. So we do that a lot. But in Australia, I was in Australia, and on the east coast, if you go far enough north, there's a little island called Moreton Island. It's where Facepalm was actually there fairly recently. She was
Yeah.
posting pictures of it. I recognized the place that she stayed at because I stayed there too.
Oh,
And
wow.
Cool.
they have um, they have great beaches. It's this little island off the coast, or like off the mainland, just a little bit off the mainland, and um, it's completely secluded except you have one little resort, and the rest of the island is just uninhabited. And it was wonderful. I mean, it was like it might have been just because I was younger and didn't have responsibilities too. Um, but it was great. I mean, we you could do pretty much anything because there was no one else there. There was no one else. You didn't have to fight for space. You didn't have to anything because there were only a handful of rooms at the resort, and there wasn't enough capacity for it to be crowded. So that might have been my favorite one.
Is that one of those crazy clothing optional beaches that I hear so much about?
You know, I have no idea whether it was or not. It's the sort of thing where when you've got 25 people on the island in total, that it wouldn't really be enforceable anyway. So who knows? But I was younger when I went. Like I was in high school, and
Ah,
so it is. Have you ever been to an opera?
I have not.
I have not either.
I've been in an opera, but I've never been to an opera. Obviously, I didn't enjoy it, the one that I was in, so I didn't want to do a repeat. So, um, yeah, I had a small part in an opera. It was a church thing, and it was terrible. Terrible.
Oh no.
Oh God. So, yeah. But no, I've never actually paid to go see an opera.
Fair enough. I don't think it's particularly easy to find anyway. I feel like I'm shouting because these headphones are very noise
I
blocking,
know.
and I can't hear myself at all. So I'm off one ear. Hopefully that helps. Classical music. Do you enjoy classical music?
At the right times. It's if
Yeah,
I'm trying to read a
sometimes.
book or it's otherwise quiet, but that's it.
Yeah, as far as I know, classical music they play that in operas. So I'm not a fan of either genre. So sorry, Jenna. Um,
Or the symphony. The symphony would play classical music.
well, the church where I go to, they've got a full orchestra, and
Eh,
no, I don't go to those services. I go to different services. I go to the ones with the guitar and the drums and the bass.
gotcha.
We do have an oboe that plays with our worship band, so that's pretty cool.
That's interesting.
And this week he brought an electronic oboe, like he hooked it up to keyboard,
Hmm.
and
I had
it's
no
kind of
idea
like
such a critter existed.
yeah, I didn't either. It's kind of like the old keytars, that they had back in the
Hmm.
80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's an oboe, so he
Okay.
can do any sound that you could do with the keyboard, but it's with the oboe. So
Very cool.
Hmm. I can't imagine what that would look like.
Yeah, it's
let me see if I can find one.
Um, my wife plays violin, and she does concerts a handful of times a year, and they're great to see. It's nice because their conductor picks pieces that no one has ever heard of. I mean, you pick some that everyone kind of knows, but you pick some that are just so obscure and um, so out there that you'd never find it any other way. Um, one of I think my favorite one that they did was called the Iron Foundry, and it was just this big like building sort of piece, and it just kept escalating. It was written by a Russian during the Cold War, during a more industrial time, and at one point there's a big part where they're like you can hear the whole story going, and then they wheel this big anvil out on stage, and they're hitting that with hammers. And it was
Wow.
cool. It was
nice.
really cool to see.
Interesting.
This is a side shot of an electric oboe.
Cool.
Here,
So you just hook it up to the computer, and he's still blue in it and stuff.
huh.
That's
Can't
very
play an
cool.
oboe anyway, but it was pretty cool. So there's your classical music lesson for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I got.
I like it. Um, I I have a question with mentioning ahead of time that's completely just a segue into a ridiculous thing I saw happen. But um, have there been any traffic-related things that have happened to you in the last week that have been just um, a special brand of stupid?
Yes.
Mm.
What do you
Yeah.
have?
I was driving. I'm in Pennsylvania still, so I don't really know all of the little side roads. And I was looking for a drop box for mailbox, so I turned on this little side road and I got out and dropped my mail. And I was thinking I could just take it down to the next road and turn out. Turns out I couldn't do that. But anyway, so I go down the road, and as I'm driving down this little road, before I realized it was a dead end, I met these two women who were walking. And they were walking kind of in the middle of the other side, but I thought, it's okay. They're not in the way. Whatever. So I went past them, then I realized it was a dead end, so I had to turn around. So I turn around to come back, and they're still walking Only now they have decided that they need to walk in the middle of the road, literally. And I come up behind them thinking, okay, they're going to move to one side or the other. Nope. They're still just walking. One's on a cell phone, the other one's smoking her cigarette. And they're just walking. And so we got to a point where the road was slightly wider, and I thought, okay, I've got plenty of room. I'm just going to go around them. And so I went around them, and the one that was on the cell phone looked at me like, why did you pass us? You were, and I was thinking, dude, it's a road. You're not supposed to be walking down the middle of it. So, yeah, that was interesting. Yeah. And I could tell by their mouth that they were definitely cussing me. I was like, yeah, dude, you're the one walking in the middle of the road.
Yeah, you realize you got a horn in your car that would make talking on the phone pretty difficult there in front of you, right? I mean...
Yeah, well, that's true. I didn't think about the horn.
Yeah, I'm not one to, just indiscriminately blow the horn at people, but that was a good warranted tooting, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't think about it.
We got pretty good drivers down here. The only issue I have is we've got a bunch of traffic circles close by my house, and I don't carry my gun in the car because I'm scared I'm going to shoot someone who is stopped at a traffic circle. I hate them. And, there are just some people that feel like they cannot go if there's anyone else anywhere in the circle.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Weird.
So, yeah, I lose my religion every morning trying to get the kids to school because I got to go through 4 of them. And it's not a good thing. So.
Yeah, I'm sure I've seen something this week because the drivers here are idiots in general. But the most recent one I can remember was last week. I was on my way to class, and the road right before I turn onto the road that the school's on, a woman was driving, and she was texting while she was driving. So rather than at least it was a 2-lane road, but rather 2 lanes on my side, I should say. But rather than get into the turn lane to her left, whenever she wanted to turn, she stopped in the middle lane.
Oh.
Which was really confusing. But it was because she was texting instead of looking at the road. So she just decided to stop in the middle of it. 40 mile an hour, heavy traffic.
Well, she didn't want to text and drive.
That's dangerous.
It was rush hour, too. It was rush hour. That was the better part. Yeah, there's a lot of dumb people here.
She could have saved your life.
Preach.
You don't know.
I was coming back from a Saturday lab. So someone decided that physics labs early in the morning weren't quite cruel enough. And our school offers makeup lab on Saturday mornings.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's awful. So they offer makeup lab on Saturday mornings. I took this assignment because it was one that doesn't involve any amount of grading at all, which is wonderful. I mean, you just go and you babysit a room full of people who are still trying to sleep it off, and that's it. 2 hours later, you're done, and that's one of your 3 assignments. So it's a nice one.
Oh, cool.
But it's 8 in the morning on Saturdays. So I was coming back from makeup lab, and everyone's still, the people who are on the road near the college are probably still half buzzed from the night before. And I pull up to this light, and there's this giant pickup truck, the kind with, like the 4 wheels across the back, and a
dually.
The kind that's trying to make a statement about something. But behind it pulls up this car, and it's this car with 4 college dudes in it, and they stop the car and they decide this is the perfect time for a Chinese fire drill, right?
Nice.
So they get out of the car.
A perfect time for a Chinese fire drill.
Well,
let's be honest.
Afterwards, I think you'll decide that was not the perfect time. So the guy gets out of the passenger side, stumbles, and falls face first into the car. Still okay so far. I mean, now it's funny. He kind of bounced off and fell into the grass. It's kind of funny at this point. Like, it's just a what happened type of moment. They got about 3 steps into it before they realized that they forgot to put the car in park first.
Oh.
So as they're all stumbling around and trying to get back in the car, this car just rolls into the truck in front of it. Which was great because at that point, they decided that yelling and swearing at the car was probably going to make it stop. It didn't. It didn't, in case you were wondering. That was not a successful tactic. But the car that was waiting to turn onto the street that I was on was a police car.
Oh,
Which just made it that much better. I just lost my song. There it is. Which made it that much better. And the guy walks up and knocks on my window, and at this point I was kind of in a hurry to get out of town. We had a thing going on, and he walks up and I'm like, am I going to have to stay and, make a statement about this or anything? He says, nope. I caught the whole thing on my dash cam.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we'll see that on YouTube one day. That's,
I know, I told him, like, can I leave my information in case you want to leak that video? But it was pretty great. I've never seen anyone fail at that so badly before.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
That, for some reason, reminds me of the raccoon that was on the road, again, by school. And it's, the roads are all at least 4 lanes, so I was driving by it and I saw a raccoon on one of the bridges, and a couple cars were going around it because they had the extra lane, and then a big red pickup truck stopped and decided to let the raccoon that was walking sideways and hissing at the cars like it owned the road, and it stopped up all of the traffic, again, during rush hour, which was particularly hilarious because the truck could have easily taken on the raccoon and won.
Right.
But that was one of the weirdest, funniest things I've seen in a while because it was in the middle of the city, too. But
yeah, you said big truck, and that immediately made me think of this. I don't know if you can see it, but it says "Cowboy up for Jesus." Yeah,
Right.
Wow.
and that was one of those that you get behind it and you think, yeah, I'm gonna need a picture of that. And I don't want you to miss the fact that he's got his family down here at the bottom, but somehow the wife has been taken out. So I don't know if he voluntarily took off or what, but I can't say as I blame her. Evidently, she wasn't ready to cowboy up for Jesus. So, and please don't miss the Confederate flag in case you.
I don't think you could.
Yeah.
It was.
I have to say, I was actually behind a large truck the other day here in Pennsylvania with New Jersey license plates. One of the multiple stickers he had on his back window was a Confederate flag. I was like, dude, do you realize where you are?
Hey, you're not even in the right part of the country.
there are a lot of them in Ohio, and I don't get it at all.
That's
My
crazy.
brother had a belt buckle with the Confederate flag on it in high school. That was classy.
Wow.
The one thing I can say about this big truck is that it did not have large testicles hanging from the trailer.
I was wondering, yeah.
It did. I looked. There were no testicles on this truck. Not to say that I don't see them around from time to time.
Amen.
The
I think
wife
every time I
decal
see
took them.
that, I think every time I see that, I just think, was the rest of your statement not subtle or too subtle with it?
You know what I think? I think there was someone who at some point had an idea. He said, you know what? I'm going to make these large testicles. They're going to be so big, they're going to hang from the back of a pickup truck. And not only that, he convinced someone to make them.
And people bought it.
And people bought it.
And he made a profit.
He's probably retired somewhere on the beach. And we're all jealous of him because he thought about big testicles. why can't I think about big testicles? I just
Well,
don't.
you know.
I have no words.
Okay. That was a conversation killer right there. Next question.
We've got a couple from last time still. Oh boy. Let's see. Jenna from last time. uh, how do you discipline your kids for misbehaving? If you don't have kids, then how would you?
Go ahead, Bailey. Give us your wisdom. How do you discipline that 8-month-old?
Well, the 8-month-old, whenever he does something dumb, it usually ends up with a cut or a bruise. So that's kind of discipline in and of itself. He likes to pull up, and he hasn't quite mastered sitting up or crawling yet. So that's his thing. But the girls, whenever they fight, it's sometimes I go the lazy way that's actually problem solving, and I tell them to deal with it themselves. And they do a pretty good job of it, and it usually includes apologies and hugs. I'm not sure where it works, so. Or they spend.
Do that when he gets older. Yeah. He'll start hitting things probably.
Oh no, my 2-year-old is nasty. We had an issue with some bullying going on for a bit, and like finding her sister's buttons and pushing them until she cried.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a toddler talking to you. You're 5. My husband's blaming me and saying I do it to him. But yeah, so it's a lot of room time and kiss and make up and get along with each other.
Mm-hmm.
At least it's what I try.
My kids are 7, 11, and 13, and locking up the electronics is the best discipline we have these days.
So we've taken the tablet away numerous times.
Yeah. So that's real. The 7-year-old doesn't recognize anyone's authority unless you. Then he's the only one that doesn't know the code to the iPad, so he's got to con someone into turning it on for him. That is by design. So the other two you can pretty much count on. If you tell them to bring it to you, they'll bring their stuff. But the 7-year-old he finds a way. So, but we have spanked in the past. They're pretty much too old for that now. So, but
my oldest is 6, and he figures out everything, and he's always watching. No matter what you're doing, he's always watching. So we had a friend stay with us. Was that last night? Last night or 2 nights ago? It was last night. Today was, in my defense, a very, very long day with all sorts of things going on, and this is the end of the semester at school, so all the schedules are different. I didn't have to teach lab this week, which is more or less the only way that I know that it's Wednesday or Thursday is, hey, there's lab. So when I woke up today and didn't have lab, but then did have meetings afterwards, I was already thrown for a loop. But no, we had a friend stay with us last night from North Carolina, actually. And he was watching. He goes, "Can I see your phone a second?" Goes, "Yeah." "Okay, I got it." And he hands it back, and it's unlocked. "How'd you do that?" He goes, "Well, I could see kind of what numbers you were pushing, and it was just, I knew it was this pattern, and I didn't know if it was these numbers or if it was the ones right under it. But the last number, look," he goes, "there was a big smudge on your screen. I knew what the last number was, and then the other ones I knew the pattern." Like, great. This is why we fingerprint lock things.
Yeah.
And yet the
Not that that
FBI
matters.
spent $10 million trying to get into that terrorist fund. All we needed was your son to just go over there and
Seriously, all you need is a 6-year-old. It's unreal. Um, but he's good about things for the most part. Like he's got a tablet that he can do like reading. We've got it set up as an e-reader, and then if you unlock it, you can get to the games and stuff. But it's got like this locked kid mode, and he knows the password to unlock it because he figured it out. But he'll still say, "Can I unlock it, please? Could you unlock it for me?" Yeah. Okay. So he goes, "Just in case you forgot, it's 1-9." Yeah, I know. I know what it is. Thank you. So
Yeah, the scary thing is, one day he's going to be smarter than you are.
yeah, that day happened 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't have a chance. I'm doing my best to keep up.
I got a friend who's got an uber smart kid like that, and I told him one day, I said, the good news is, and our boys had gotten in trouble together, and I said the good news is we'll be able to visit them, on the weekends at the penitentiary because they'll be together. And I said the difference is your son's going to be the super villain, and my son's just going to be the lowly henchman. So your son's going to be the one pulling all the strings.
Yeah, but we know who gets out first.
Yeah.
There were more questions. There were a couple of. I only kind of have it together. I had thought that Julie was going to be able to be on, and then this was at least as big of a day for her as it was for me, so it was not going to happen. Southern Law last time asked, "What is your profession and why did you choose it?" Bama, you go first.
That's a great question. Susan doesn't have a job. Um, let's see. My most recent job, I was an assistant registrar at a university. I did that for 10.5 years. But just before quitting working to take care of Dad, I earned my MBA. And so I was hoping to do more things that would actually use my MBA, like, budget analyst, that kind of thing, auditing. So who knows what my career is?
Yeah. We'd love to tell you. This is where you need to go. How about you, Bailey?
Well, right now I don't have a paid job. I'm a stay-at-home mom because two reasons. My kids really like having me at home, enjoy being home with them, and like that I'm able to raise them until they start school. And also because childcare would cost at least twice what I would make, so it's entirely not worth it.
Yes.
But I'm in school right now and getting my associates and hoping to get into a pre-med program so that I can do research on genetics and try and help with the development of drugs for genetic disorders. So, and I like that because I like science and I've considered different realms of stuff, but I want to see people, but I don't want to deal with them that much, and I want to be around people I know.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of got out any nursing or doctor or any of that stuff out of the way, and I like finding out new things, so research seems good, and genetics and drugs are really interesting, so why not?
Yeah.
You can always be a medical examiner and just cut on people all day, and then they're like dead.
I have a problem with sharp objects penetrating skin, which is a really specific and weird thing to, as a not quite a phobia, but so that just
Not going to work.
Wouldn't.
Well,
No.
it's better than dull
Mm.
objects penetrating skin, just for the record.
Yes.
That doesn't
Yes,
work
it
either.
is.
So yeah, med school would be pretty much out for you then. The whole
Yeah.
gross anatomy lab wouldn't
I
work
mean,
with you.
I can do some of the like dissections and stuff like that, but it's just it would take a lot to get over that. I've given animal shots before. I had a diabetic dog and an asthmatic cat that needed insulin and steroids, but
That sounds like the name of a band. I like it though.
yeah.
My career, I'm a stay-at-home mom too. Um, I've been a stay-at-home mom for almost 8 years now, and love it. It's a great gig if you can get it. Um, but if I had to start doing something and more of a hobby than anything else, I'm gonna try to get into some acting. My daughter's got an agent, and so I'm gonna try to do some voice acting, maybe some commercials or something like that. So that's that's the next thing on my horizon.
Very cool. Um, I'm looking for a teaching position, I guess, at some college, but it's right now it looks like it could be absolutely anything. I've got a couple. I've had a couple things in the last week that are not teaching positions, but that are pretty nice positions that I'm looking at too. So I'm also kind of between things, but looking promising. I don't know.
And there's always the adult entertainment industry for you, because that's paid pretty well for you.
uh, um, see. What do you think is? Oh, there was a question. There was a question a little bit ago. Um, Nope, I can't remember who posted it. Never mind. What do you think is the single biggest issue in this election?
I
Because
can
we
tell
can
you what
ask
is,
the real one from time to time too, right?
yeah, I can tell you what's the biggest issue in North Carolina right now. Um, well, that's not the question you asked. The single biggest question in this election: how do we get a do-over? I think that's the
Oh,
biggest single question that we have. Um, Biggest issue. There are just so many. I don't know.
I
Somebody
don't
else
know
guess.
either. I kind of think the biggest question right now is what's going to happen at the um, conventions this summer, because it looks like that maybe nobody's going to go in the clear winner from either side. So I think everybody's curious how all that's going to play out.
Yeah, I'm really interested in that. That might be the biggest issue overall, at least as far as the election itself. Definitely
Yeah.
is a pretty big thing. I think possibly for my generation, though, part of it could be our future and what way it goes. That's a huge question that's up in the air. Things could change really drastically, really fast,
Mm.
and it's
Yeah.
a pretty big deal. And it's part us and part what the heck are our kids going to be either brought into or raised into, and things like Social Security and all that, and then a little bit also for everybody foreign relations. I know that a lot of the candidates would handle it drastically differently, and then it's a question of, well, this one will probably get us into a war, and this one will probably ignore wars.
Yeah.
And
Mhm. Well,
so,
it's amazing to me that we have four that are four candidates that are so completely different.
yeah,
Yeah.
You know, we've
Yeah.
got the entire spectrum from your far left to your far right, and then the two idiots in the middle that you know you just don't know what either of them would do. You know, the two that you can trust to do what they say they're going to do, they're on the polar opposites, and then the two that you know you hear what they say, but they may not do what they say. You know, they're the moderates in the middle. It's very interesting. at
It
least for
is.
a junkie like me. So
It's cool to watch. Scary, but cool.
yeah, if the stakes weren't so high, it'd be a lot of fun. But it's just
Yeah.
It'll be cool in history classes in a few decades, but
Well, and then
Living through it, not so much.
I guess the other part of it that I was wondering about, if so say, we'll call it hypothetical, but let's be real. 98% chance probability. I'm estimating it might be higher. That Trump doesn't win the election, because no, I don't think I can see the future where so many.
because God loves us and would not allow that to happen. That's just
Yeah,
what
yeah. I mean, so let's say he doesn't win. Um, is there another one like him that runs 4 years from now? Like, it has this broken some kind of a seal on that type of candidate?
Like, will Kanye actually?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Or yeah, but yeah, something along those lines. Do we keep getting um, complete nut jobs until one of them either actually wins or, well, I don't know if it's something that as a country we're likely to grow out of anytime soon. It's one of those things I kind of thought we had grown out of, and it's
Well, we've
I
kind
pretty
of
was gonna
made.
say,
embarrassing that we hadn't. I mean,
as long as we're keeping up with the Kardashians, probably not gonna outgrow it.
Yeah, we've kind of made our bed. We're a entertainment fed society that we just go from one reality show to the next, and he's like he's Mr. TV,
Mm-hmm.
um, a mile wide and an inch deep. There's just not a lot of depth to him, but he'll tell you that there is. So
he's got great words.
yeah,
all the words.
All the
He knows
words.
how to use the words.
I mean, he's got a bit of Ronald Reagan in him that he knows the camera and he's very charismatic and he can get people to follow him. The difference is Ronald Reagan was principled. He knew what he wanted and he knew what he believed.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that Trump is there. I mean, Ronald Reagan. If you look at your history, he was a Democrat, initially switched over to a Republican as well. But when he got there, he was very principled, more so, and very presidential. Not quite adjectives that would describe Donald Trump. So,
But to be fair, principled is not an adjective that would describe most politicians.
True.
well, I would say that Bernie Sanders is principled,
I will agree.
and I would say that Ted Cruz is principled.
I don't
You may not
agree.
agree with
But
those
okay.
principles, but and then that's my opinion. But
Right.
yeah, that's what I was saying, that those two are the polar opposite. I would love to see an election between those two to see which way America would choose,
Mm.
at that point. But that's not gonna happen. Hey, get a room.
It was off camera. It's okay. He's going to bed. He has to work in the morning. I don't.
You work all day.
And that was the right answer, whatever your name is.
Yes, that's
Ben.
right.
His name's Ben. Or any slur you feel like using. That's okay too.
That's preferable.
He said it's preferable.
Well, that was an actual political question on Hangout. I don't know that we've ever gone that deep into politics.
I think we
Definitely
did
not
one on. We did one a few weeks ago, but I think they're good to ask sometimes.
They're
It's
kind of
like a
hard to avoid
throwback.
these days.
Yeah.
Do what?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a throwback to the official show of hands hangouts we used to have.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's way back.
Mhm.
That was before my time.
It's really liquidy. Stop. I'm just gonna spill.
Well, I never actually did one of those.
I did one, two.
But I did watch a couple of them.
I did one, and that I'm pretty sure I was really awkward in it, because I am, but
And so you're doing just fine here.
Yeah, you're doing
thank
good.
you.
What do you bridge?
There was a question that came up about who do you think is the most powerful woman in the world right now, and it was worded a little bit differently. They cited some magazine or some newspaper or whatever and said it's X. Do you agree with this? But they also asked for second place. So I think I wouldn't mind hearing answers to that question. Who do you think are the top two most powerful women in the world right now?
Well, you got to put Hillary up there, even though she doesn't have actual power at this point. I mean, she's probably going to be the head of the Democratic Party going forward, assuming she gets the nomination. The other name that, and I don't know a lot about this person, but I hear the name Valerie Jarrett going around a lot, and from what I understand, she really has Obama's ear. One of his, I guess,
Top
cabinet,
advisors.
yeah, one of his advisors. And anybody that can put their ideas into the president, and especially this president that many times will do things without Congress, I think that's a lot of power.
To be fair, Congress isn't doing anything, so
I'm not
you know,
saying,
if
yeah,
anything's going to happen,
right. And he's not the only one to do
I
it
understand
that
the
way either.
frustration.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, she's got his ear, and she can point the country. That's a lot of power. And then there's Ellen, Ellen DeGeneres.
Well, that's why we had to ask for second place. No.
Exactly. Exactly. What do y'all think?
I'm not sure. Well, first of all, with all the people who died like today and yesterday, I should probably check the news first.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
make sure they're still alive.
Let's say as of 48 hours ago.
Yeah. I'm not entirely sure, though, because there's a lot of things going on right now, and I'm really, really bad with names and putting anything to a association, which is a bad thing. But
I'm generally not great with names. I have a couple classes with like 12 or 20, 24 students in them each, I think, and I can't remember their names. I get 48 students total, and I get a whole semester to learn the names, and I don't. I learned like half of them, and then they.
the girl who sits behind me, the only reason I know her name is because yesterday in class she asked if she could send me a Facebook friend request for a workout group on Facebook that she wanted to add me into and thought I'd be interested in. So now I know her name because she friend requested me. But yeah, I talk to her a lot. I don't know my neighbor's name. I talk to him a lot too. It took me a year and a half to remember the one who lives next to me. I don't know the guy who lives across. He's really nice.
Yeah, I hate that feeling when you realize I don't know who you are, and I've known you long enough that I can't ask who you are.
Yeah,
He's
he's lived there for a year.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that too.
No, I thought the only logical person for most powerful woman in the world was Angela Merkel.
Okay, I can see Merkel.
But then once you get past that, I think it was Laserbeam was suggesting that it might be a celebrity instead of a politician for.
It could be, or
for first place, but I think for second, I don't think there's competition for first.
Well, just because it's her birthday, I think we should mention the Queen.
But does she have any power? Is she more a figurehead?
Don't have to have power to have influence.
That's true.
I was going to say she has a lot of influence. So
Are there any female heads of state out there other than the Queen?
Yeah, well, I mean,
Merkel.
yeah, Merkel. There are a few. South Korea's.
Oh, the one with the cats.
What's South Korea's latest?
I can look it up real quick.
Partner?
The one with the cats.
Yes. She's unmarried and has cats and loves her cats.
Oh,
If I'm thinking of the right person.
I did not know this.
Yes. Park Geun-hye. I probably butchered
Yep,
that.
that's South Korea. That's what I was trying to come up with. And I mean, there are several, and you know,
Well, at one point I would have said Oprah. She had a
Not
lot
anymore,
of
though.
Yeah, not
Yeah,
anymore.
not anymore.
She's kind of just trying to continue riding it out as long as she can. Hear something about her every now and then. She pops up in animated GIFs online
Mm-hmm.
about when people get everything.
Or you see pictures from somebody's wedding, or
there's what's her name, Rusev, yeah, Brazil, something Rusev. Yeah, I'm really bad with first names, but
See?
You got to throw Nancy Pelosi
Dilma.
too.
yeah, yep.
I mean, she's
Mm,
she's pretty high up there.
Oh, the motive behind the impeachment of Brazil's President Dilma Rousseff.
Oh,
I don't know. She was impeached April 17th.
yeah, and pretty rightfully so. Some might argue. Yeah, that's that whole. And Brazil's been a bigger and bigger mess over time, but they'll
Yeah,
get there.
I've got some friends down there, and man, it's a mess.
Yeah, the Olympics going there may be as bad as our election
oh
here.
yeah,
You know,
And we can watch that one from far away
right?
instead of the middle of it.
hmm Let's see. Jenna asks, because we can go to something a little bit more light. Like, yeah, great here. Like long-term isolation. If you had to choose between being stranded in space or on a desert island with no chance of rescue but adequate supplies, which would you choose?
The island, there's sunshine and gravity.
There's
And-
sunshine and gravity in space.
Not to the same degree. I don't have to worry about like running out of
Where did it come
oxygen or
You gotta
what if I get hit with an asteroid? I'm not able to deal with that.
Yeah, you could get hit by an asteroid sitting on a beach or in space. You know that.
Yeah, but then I'm dead for sure, immediately dead.
Yeah, I'm
Oh.
saying the beach as well. Number one, because I've got supplies. There's nothing said about
Yes.
supplies in space. And literally everything around you is trying to kill you when you're in space. So, no.
Even nothing is trying to kill you and
Exactly.
can kill you.
Especially the
Yes.
yeah, definitely going with the beach for those exact reasons.
I've got to suffer all by myself on clothing optional secluded island. So be it.
Yeah.
Though they didn't say the island was warm, just deserted.
True.
Yeah, but if you have everything you need, you've got clothes at least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
But I mean, Antarctica's an island.
Yeah, but you've got everything you need, which means shelter and everything, because
Okay,
Yeah.
you won't freeze to death.
that's true.
And that's, although I was listening to a podcast, and one of the researchers there studying meteors. Those are the ones that hit the Earth, right? There's that.
They're meteorites when they hit,
Meteorites,
but
yeah.
yeah.
She was studying meteorites and going to find some of them, and nobody told her that how cold it would be, and her contacts froze the first night because apparently she's supposed to put them inside her sleeping bag with her, not next to her. So the fluid in the
Oh, I totally imagined freezing to her eyes.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
not to her eyes.
I was too. I was like, wow.
But yeah, no, if you kept them open long enough, they probably would. But
Mhm.
yeah, and apparently they still work after freezing. But
Oh, okay.
Good to know.
That's pretty cool.
yeah, well, at least that pair did. But
My youngest daughter has found this old pair of sunglasses that my older daughter had, and I mean, old is loosely used. They're like 2 years old or whatever, but she has popped out the lenses, so they are just sunglasses frames, and she wears them around. And I've had a couple people ask me, "Are those reading glasses?" Like, no, she's 3.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, even if they were glasses, they wouldn't be reading glasses. She's
yeah,
3 years old. But
my 5-year-old is getting glasses as soon as they come in. She's gonna have reading glasses, which I have someone in the family that doesn't have glasses just because they're old. And I'm sad for her, but happy for me. And she's excited at least, but
it's fun. Um, I think there are more questions, but we've also been on a while.
Hmm.
Uh, should we do one more?
We'll do one more. One closer.
Okay.
Oh
You
my.
want to find a good one? I always end up missing one.
I just found it. I was there.
Do you have one, Ron?
No, I'm looking. What about last week? You still got those up?
That's like 3 weeks ago. They're kind of hard to find. Uh,
Does anybody have any fun camping stories? That's one of Jenna's. Does anybody have been camping? Does anybody enjoy camping?
I
No.
enjoy it.
hmm.
Haven't been, and I think the only funny story I can remember is whenever my brother and I were little, and our boots were wet for whatever reason. Brand new hiking boots were like 8 and 9 or something. And my dad said, just put them on the stones around the fire. Well, the fire wasn't out when we did this, and our boots melted to the rocks. That was fun. At least my parents paid for it at the time. We didn't care about the financial aspect. We just lost our boots.
But
But
they were dry.
they were dry.
They were
We just
dry.
I
didn't
mean,
wear them.
beggars and choosers right there.
Mhm.
Ah,
Yeah, when we were first married, my sister had a camper, and so my wife and I went camping with my sister and her husband, and it wasn't a big camper, so my sister and her husband slept outside. We slept inside the camper, had a TV, had air conditioning, and my wife and I looked at each other and said, "Yeah, we're not camper people." So that's the only time we've been camping, and so my sister and her husband were out in the tent, still love to camp. Nope, sorry, not gonna be us. I think my parents have a big old RV, and my sister now has a big old RV, and my parents keep saying you can borrow it anytime you want, and no, we're good, we're good.
what about you, Susan?
I haven't been camping in so long I wouldn't even begin to guess. And I have never camped in a tent. That was so not either my mom or my dad's thing, so I have never ever done that. Um, as a matter of fact, the only time I know of my dad ever camping in a tent, they were Cub Scout troop leaders for my brother and had to do an overnight camping thing. And so he took my brother and the little boys out there. Um, and my brother's 10 years older than me. So I probably wasn't even born the only time the man went camping, to my knowledge. No, Susan doesn't camp.
We did when I was in Girl Scouts, we did a camping thing, and my mom and her best friend were the troop leaders. And I'm not sure which one of them brought Jack, but they decided that they needed it because all the women were supposed to be setting up the tents, and they had their husbands come to set up tents because they didn't know how to, whereas my mom and her friend did because that's part of camping. So
Right.
they were taking shots of Jack because they couldn't stand the other moms, which I
Yeah.
find hilarious. Wildly inappropriate, but hilarious.
And pretty fair. Um, my I haven't been legit camping in a while because kids, but
Yeah.
we we have a tent and we're when the weather gets warmer, I can take the kids and just do that in the yard. I can't take it very far with all three of them, but I think my middle one is just she'll do anything. She's fearless in every way, and she's just a trooper. So uh, as soon as as soon as the older one is ready to go do something bigger, then she'll be ready to. Um, and I think we might get away with doing that this summer. So I'm really looking forward to it. We do a lot of walking through the woods and um, finding different places to go and things like that. So all we need to do is find a good spot to set up, and we will. And they eat absolutely anything, which makes things easier too.
Mm-hmm.
And they're good eaters. But if there are no more questions, then I think we should call it for tonight. We started pretty close to on time. We were a couple minutes past, but um, we made it a bit more than an hour. I think that's pretty good without becoming a huge time commitment for anyone, right?
Yep.
So thank you, all three of you. Thank you, Bailey, for being on for the first time.
Yeah.
This was really cool, um, and I'll hopefully see you again sometime.
Okay.
And I guess for everyone else, we'll see you next time.
Yep.
It should be good to be back on next week. I think all of everything that's going to happen has already happened, so we should be at karmic gold for a good long time. Uh, Thanks for watching. Thanks for being on, and we'll see you next time.
All right.